Welcome to Moksa Workflow Manager Training Movies. This is the second movie for exercise number 5. In the first movie, we created a new workflow where we set record field values and where we enabled editing of records in a task. We created this workflow, and in this workflow we also enabled in the workflow parameters the editing of a task. We defined the commission template as the fields being used for these tasks. It's a metadata template. And we created a workflow where there are 2 swim lanes or user lists. The first task in a commission task will allow us to upload files and will allow us to edit the record. The next task will be a simple approval, and based on that approval the files will store information from the workflow and from the approval or from the rejection. Let's see the workflow at work. I log in as a user that has permission to use the workflow portal. In this example, I'm going to search and add the records that I want to use in my workflow in Cumulus. I'm not going to add them. I'm just going to search for them, and that means that now I can go to the workflow portal, select my workflow. I could change the name, set the name, whatever, but the most important part is this one, where I select the records from the collection basket. I can set, I can set the participants. Optionally, I can set an administrator. Most important is that I enter a SKU, because that is the field that we are going to save back to the records. And then I can add the instructions. Please create flyer and set notes. And I click on save. I get a summary of my workflow and I submit the workflow. Now the workflow will be running. The very first person in this workflow will receive an email. So if we have a look in the mail and we wait for the mail to come in, we see that the mail is already there. As always, the email describes the task and adds whatever information that we specified in the template. If I click on the link, it opens the task for that user. The user gets all the information. You can see here the SKU information, and even if you are allowed, you could modify the SKU number or whatever other setting that you want to do. And the information that you changed will be updated. And now when I could go over here, this is a button that we just enabled. If I go here, you can see that there's already a text in there, so he picks up the value that is in your record. So I could say that this is the second test, and I could set the status to OK, not OK, whatever status is available. In this example, I'll set the status OK for this record, and I could say final test, and I could set it to not OK for this record. The main purpose of this task was, of course, to offer the user the opportunity to upload, to create a design and to upload that design into the workflow. So we just did that, and after a few seconds this new file appears. I can have here in the notes add whatever I want. I say new file uploaded. Any information that you might consider useful. I could set the status here too, but that status will be very temporary, because as soon as I submit the task, it will be overwritten by whatever status it is set using the task that we configured in that workflow. Just to tease or just to show you that it definitely works, is that I'm setting the status to not okay, but as soon as I submit, it will complain that it will save the status as not okay, and when I do the approval task, the status will change in okay if I approve. For that, we will have to wait a few seconds for the email to come in. Into the user's mailbox, we can see that it finally arrived. And the user can click on it. There's the file that to which we added the text. Here you can see new file uploaded. If I go to the information window, I can even see that the status was set to not okay. I have that status value here, and now I can approve or reject. I can say okay, I will approve. This is okay. The backend checks your choice and registers it. As soon as you submit, it will process your settings, and you can see in a few moments the result in the Cumulus client. So now this task is finished. The backend is now processing that task. So if we have a look in the workflow, it means that now it is going to perform this specific task. The approved files are going here, and we only approved one file, so no files will be going to the rejected. And if I have a look in my workflow, we will see in a second if we're not too quick. I'm going to go here, I double click, and I see that it is still set to not okay, which means that the workflow is probably not ready processing it yet. Now you see that it changed into okay. So now the workflow was finished. If I have a look in the information window, I can see the text that I added, new files uploaded. You can see the SKU, the modified SKU, and the one that I modified in the second task. So even the moment where you do that set field value task is important. So if you had put it in the beginning of the workflow, it would have had this value, but because we did it at the end of the workflow and somebody edited it, it had that value. And the status field here at the bottom is set okay. So this was an example of how you can set field values, record field values from within the workflow manager. In the next example, we will show you how you can even react in your workflow on those field values that have been set. Thank you for joining. See you later.